My friend invited me to play a ghost summoning game. There were clearly only 3 of us, yet I touched a 4th hand. Have you ever heard of the ghost summoning game? At midnight, in an empty room, all lights are off. 3 participants stand at 3 separate corners of the room, facing the wall. Absolutely, under no circumstances, are you allowed to turn your head. When the game begins, the person in the first corner walks towards the second corner, gently touches the hand of the person standing there, and then stops. The person who is touched does the same, walking towards the person in the third corner and touching their hand. The third person, having been touched, then proceeds towards the fourth corner. At this point, the fourth corner is empty. If that person also touches a hand, it means the ghost has arrived. Lena deliberately lowered her voice as she recounted the story. The flashlight beam illuminated her face, casting it in stark chiaroscuro, a perfect blend with the cold, gloomy atmosphere, amplifying the horror. Her attention was currently fixed on Lynn. I secretly crept behind her and gently blew into her ear. Lena immediately let out a piercing scream. Ah, a ghost. Seeing this, I burst into mocking laughter. Ha ha, with guts like that, and you invited us to play a ghost summoning game. Lena recognized that it was me who had blown into her ear, and she angrily slapped me. Isn't it because my livestream channel with Lynn keeps getting no viewers? That's why I thought of doing something new. Lynn nodded. All right, let's just start early and finish early so we can go home. I shrugged. Fine, let's begin. My name is Iris. I'm a university student and also a Taoist practitioner. Half an hour ago, I was happily scrolling through my phone under my dorm blanket. Half an hour later, my roommate dragged me here to livestream this folk ghost summoning game. Initially, I refused, but Lena promised to pay for my meals for a whole semester if I joined. Fine, I was swayed. So now, here I am, standing outside the door of this abandoned dormitory. After putting on the specialized night vision goggles for live streaming that Lena had bought at a high price, I could see the live comments. She pushed open the dorm room door. The live stream was already on, with a scattered few viewers. Comments began to trickle in. What kind of stunt is the streamer pulling now? Last time, the Eating 3 Pigs livestream failed, and now what abstract game is she playing? Holy cow, where is this place? Doesn't want to be an abstract streamer anymore. Switching to spiritual streaming. Is this a paranormal exploration? Oh my god, did Iris just flash by? Through the night vision goggles, I saw that the room wasn't large. Its layout was identical to my own dorm room. The 4 walls had been whitewashed, and on the ceiling were faint dark red stains. Being far away, I couldn't make out what they were. After closing the door, Lena turned off the flashlight, plunging the entire room into complete darkness, not a single ray of light. The rules are simple, Lena explained. The 3 of us will stand in 3 corners, one after another. Starting with me, I'll walk to Lynn. Lynn will walk to Iris, and Iris will walk to the last empty corner. Lena assigned the roles. I voiced my objection. Why do I have to be in the last corner? Isn't the last corner the ghost summoning spot? My words made Lena stumble. She seemed a little flustered. There are no ghosts in this world. I arranged it this way because it's easier for me to live stream both of you from my corner. I sensed her fear and seized the opportunity. I can be in the last corner, but you have to pay for my meals for 2 semesters. Seeing me haggle, Lena grumbled, gritting her teeth, but accepted. Fine. Having achieved my goal, I walked towards the last corner. Lena went to the first corner, right by the door. Lynn stood in the second corner. Comments, has it started yet? It's really turned into a spiritual show. Is that Diane Mew? Diane Mew? Diane Mew? That's Iris. Get out of here, fake fan. The game began. Lena's voice faded and absolute silence descended. I stood face to face with the wall, seeing nothing. All other senses were infinitely amplified. Beside my ear, I heard Lena's footsteps, asterisk tap tap tap. The sound went from far to near, then stopped. After a few seconds, footsteps sounded again. This time, it was Lynn's. She was wearing slippers, so her footsteps were tack 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 asterisk. She walked very slowly, but suddenly I felt something was off. Her footsteps seemed a little erratic. I couldn't help but tilt my head slightly, only to realize Lynn was walking towards me, but for some reason, her steps seemed weak. This must be why her footsteps were disordered. I didn't sense any ghostly aura around. I didn't think much of it and turned my head back to wait for Lynn. Tack 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 asterisk, the footsteps returned to normal. I felt a warm hand touch mine. It's Lynn, she's behind me. According to the rules, I didn't look at her but immediately turned around, facing the last corner. Once I reached it, the game would end. That's why I didn't realize that Lynn's face was deathly pale, unlike a living person. I cautiously moved forward through the limited vision of the night vision goggles. Suddenly, the goggles blurred. I couldn't clearly see what was ahead. The environment was too dark. I could only rely on my sense of touch to grope my way to the corner of the room. I had prepared myself to touch empty air, so I just casually reached out my hand. Suddenly, I touched a cold, slimy hand. I immediately recoiled, my scalp tingling numbly, an indescribable sensation spreading throughout my body. I felt every cell in my body screaming to run. This was the instinctive reaction the human brain emits when faced with danger. I quickly took a step back, instinctively looking towards that hand. A bluish-green face appeared in my sight. Its pitch-black eyes bulged unnaturally from its face, and it smirked at me. Even though I was a Taoist practitioner, this sudden sight froze me on the spot. "Ha ha ha, Iris, scared, aren't you?" Lena's voice rang in my ear. Still startled, I turned towards the sound. Lena took off her costume mask, chuckling as she patted my shoulder. "I told you there are no ghosts or demons in this world, Iris. You're just too timid. When I went to the second corner, I quickly ran around to scare you. So, was it thrilling?" I didn't answer her, only stared intently at where I had just touched, the bluish-green face still flashing in my mind. I had just touched and looked forward, but Lena had scared me from the side. At this moment, Lynn also quickly rushed over. "Lena, you went too far." She grabbed my hand, its icy coldness making me shiver. Lena saw that Lynn seemed angry. She knew she had gone a bit too far but still mumbled irritably, "It was just a prank. Besides, Iris, your hand is so cold. When you touched me earlier, I got goosebumps." Hearing her words, I felt an even stronger sense of unease. So I touched Lena's hand. It was still warm. I turned to Lynn and casually touched her hand as well. Lynn's hand was stone cold. Under the night vision filter, her face flickered in and out of sight. I looked at Lena, enunciating each word. "No, Lena, the one who just touched you wasn't me." The moment my words ended, the livestream comments immediately exploded. "Oh my God, what does the streamer mean? I was just watching from the first streamer's POV. She really did go to the last corner. Ada, the third streamer, is definitely just trying to get attention. I was watching from the second streamer's POV. She didn't move at all. Report, I was just taking a dump. The one who touched the streamer wasn't me. I was watching from Iris's POV. A moment ago, the livestream screen had issues, all static, couldn't see anything. Definitely a spiritual entity interfering. The person above is certainly right. The streamer is just trying to make it dramatic. If you saw everything, what would be the point of the act? Don't be superstitious all the time. Feudal superstitions are bad." Not just the comments, Lena also exploded. She immediately jumped away from me. "What do you mean by that? Lynn didn't come to my spot just now. Besides you, who else touched me? I get it now. You definitely saw me scare me, so you're deliberately saying that to scare me back, aren't you? You hold a grudge, Iris. All right, fine, you scared me. Now the game's over, let's go home." She then tried to pull my hand, but recoiled as soon as she touched it. "Why is your hand so hot now? Wasn't it cold a moment ago? You're not scared anymore, so it warmed up, right? Let's go quickly, I'm sleepy, I want to sleep." She kept muttering incessantly. Annoyed by her, I spoke up. "Can you please be quiet for a moment?" Lena didn't listen, her mouth still rambling. I couldn't take it anymore, so I swung my hand and slapped her across the face. "Are you calm now?" She was stunned by my slap, but calmed down somewhat. I snatched the costume mask from her hand and looked at it. My heart went cold. This mask was not the bluish-green face I had just seen. This room definitely has a problem. We need to get out of here fast. I grabbed Lena and Lynn's hands with both of mine, speaking as quickly as possible. "The game's over. Let's get out first. We can talk about it outside." With that, I lifted my feet and headed for the main door, but Lynn stood rooted, unmoving. I turned back, puzzled, and saw her, face deathly pale, smiling at me eerily. It was then that I remembered. From the moment I touched her hand until now, Lynn hadn't uttered a single word. I quietly released Lynn's hand, gripping tightly the 5 Emperor coins I had instinctively brought with me. I continued to ask Lynn, "Should we go back?" Lynn stiffly shook her head. No matter how hard I pulled, she wouldn't budge. Furthermore, at this moment, she had no life force. It was as if some evil spirit had possessed her. But humans have 3 souls and 7 ethereal spirits. If the soul hasn't left the body, evil spirits cannot possess it unless the possessor is a vengeful spirit who committed suicide. Lynn didn't seem alive, yet I couldn't drag her. For now, I could only get Lena out first. Once she was safe, I would return for Lynn, so I tightly grasped Lena's hand. Come on, let's get out first. Lena also didn't move, only stared in horror behind me, her voice trembling. Iris, the door is gone. What? I turned around, shocked to find the room door had vanished at some point. I quickly scanned the 4 smooth walls, there was no entrance or exit. We were completely trapped here. Fortunately, I had taken precautions, bringing the small peach wood sword, a few talismans, and the 5 emperor coins my master had given me. The absence of doors on all sides was undoubtedly due to an illusion array created by the vengeful spirit here. Lynn beside me was laughing and making a sound asterisk cluck 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 asterisk, like something was stuck in her throat. Lena seemed impatient. Lynn, what are you doing imitating a mother hen at a time like this? Lynn stopped for a moment, then continued the incessant cluck 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 asterisk. I watched Lynn's face grow paler and paler, then pulled a ghost-dispelling talisman from my bag and stuck it on her. May all things be auspicious, all evil retreat, Supreme Lord Leazi, by swift decree. Lynn convulsed, quickly falling to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Only then did Lena react. Oh my God, she's not having an epileptic seizure, is she? I was in no mood to pay attention to Lena. I just helped Lynn up, pressing my fingernail into her Beihui acupoint, but the vengeful spirit inside her refused to leave. So, with one hand, I gripped both sides of Lynn's cheeks, and with the other, I rolled the ghost-dispelling talisman into a ball and forced it into her mouth. My fingers closed, forming a hand seal as I chanted the spell. Supreme Lord Leazi's talisman, evil spirits retreat 1,000 miles by swift decree. Lynn immediately let out a blood-curdling scream, and a plume of black smoke flew out from her Beihui acupoint, drifting towards a wall in the room. At this moment, Lynn's body temperature warmed. She opened her eyes and looked at me. Iris, what happened to me? Is the game over? I nodded and helped her up. For safety, I handed the 5 emperor coins to Lynn. Hold on to these for protection. Lynn looked at me gratefully. Thank you, what about you? I pulled out a mini peach wood sword from my pocket. I have this. Lynn looked at the peach wood sword, which was barely the size of my palm, with a hint of worry. I pressed the protrusion at the back of the sword, and it immediately extended. Lena exclaimed, Amazing! I slipped my cinnabar beads into Lena's hand and said, Although this room isn't big, the 3 of us mustn't be separated by even half a step to prevent evil spirits from taking advantage of any opening. Lena, don't worry, don't underestimate the bond between the 3 of us. Comments, here it comes, the bond, late but arrived. Antagonist, I don't know anything, I just heard them talking about bonding and friendship, then they got beaten to death. I paid attention to the comments, suddenly recalling the sound Lynn made when she was possessed, cluck 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 asterisk, similar to a cough. I remembered Master once said that most hanging ghosts had damaged throats when alive, which prevented them from speaking after becoming spirits, only able to emit sounds similar to coughing. If so, this vengeful spirit was likely the person who had committed suicide by hanging 3 years ago. Lynn clearly saw the comments too, her voice hoarse and weak. What are the comments saying? Which hanging person? Lena, you were just possessed. The comments mean the ghost that possessed you was the hanging ghost from 3 years ago. As soon as the 3 words, hanging ghost, were uttered, the room's temperature immediately plummeted. Suddenly, a piercing sound rang out, like sharp claws scraping a blackboard. My hair instantly stood on end. Lynn's voice trembled, her eyes fixed on a horizontal beam of light in the middle of the room. Iris, look here. I followed her gaze. A white noose suddenly appeared distinctly. And just like that, the noose shot straight towards Lena. Lena screamed in terror. I grabbed my peach wood sword, immediately shielding Lena behind me, pointing the sword directly at the noose. The noose wrapped tightly around my peach wood sword. I felt an incredibly powerful surge of malevolent energy rush towards me through the sword. Reacting quickly, I flung the peach wood sword away, but the noose continued to fly towards Lena. She was so terrified that her legs gave out, and she tumbled onto the floor. Betting that the hanging ghost still retained a sliver of consciousness, I yelled at Lena, Kneel. Lena, what then? Kneel down, apologize. Lena immediately kowtowed forcefully, fresh blood gushing from her forehead. Comments, is this streamer an idiot? Didn't they say ghosts fear nothing more than people talking about the cause of their death? If you don't seek death, you won't die. Lena continued to kowtow repeatedly, her mouth ceaselessly apologizing. I intently watched the noose, which simply circled Lena once, then stopped right at her neck. The noose lingered by Lena's neck for a moment, then slowly vanished. Everything returned to silence, only the chilling temperature remained unchanged. We were trapped in this room by the hanging ghost. We had to find a way to escape. Lynn tightly gripped my hand. She seemed to have made a major decision, asking me, "Iris, there's a ghost here, isn't there?" I nodded, patting her hand to comfort her. "Don't be scared, it's okay." Hearing this, Lynn looked around cautiously, then leaned close to my ear, lowering her voice. "I think I know who the ghost here is." She gave a desolate smile. "It's my twin sister, Lena." "What?" I was slightly shocked. "Lena," Lynn continued, "3 years ago my sister Lena and I both got accepted into this university. Although we were twins, our appearances and interests were different. Later, for some unknown reason, she suffered from depression and grew increasingly sad. In the end, she hanged herself in the school's utilities room. I couldn't bear the shock and took a year off to recover." I nodded, knowing the identity of the vengeful spirit would make things easier to handle. Lynn mentioned Lena hanged herself in the utilities room, but why is her vengeful spirit lingering here? I looked at Lena and Lynn. "Both of you, take the 5 Emperor coins and cinnabar beads I gave you and check around for any suspicious spots." With that, I walked straight to the center of the room. I looked up at the ceiling. There were several very faint dark red stains, surrounded by yellowish, greasy-looking secretions. I took off my jacket, wadded it up, and threw it hard onto the ceiling. The jacket stuck to the yellow secretions, then fell to the ground. I picked it up, brushed off the stained part, and brought it closer to my nose. An indescribable greasy smell, accompanied by a hint of putrid stench, assailed my nostrils. I immediately knew this was thiou, corpse oil. I gripped the jacket, quickly going towards Lynn. "After your sister's body was headless, was her body cremated? Did you witness it yourself?" "No, my parents told me." "Did you see the ashes?" "No, they were in an urn. After cremation, my parents hastily took them away for burial." Lynn didn't say anything more, only continued to grope along the wall. "Why is it sticky here?" Lena's surprised voice came from behind. I quickly stepped over, seeing her squatting by a wall. I looked at the wall she had just touched, only to see similar yellowish, greasy secretions there, just like on the ceiling. I observed closer, realizing these marks were interwoven, forming a complex pattern. Tracing these marks on the wall, I was astonished to find that they formed a talisman. I sent the video I had recorded to my master. My master replied immediately. "This is a type of ghost-suppression talisman, often used to suppress vengeful spirits who died unjustly with immense malevolence. The suppression method is incredibly cruel. One must decapitate the person, then bury the head and body in 2 different walls within the same room. Then, the blood of a black dog mixed with rooster's blood is used to draw the talisman over the burial sites, which can permanently suppress the vengeful spirit in that room." Lynn snatched my phone, listening to Master's words once more. Her voice trembled slightly. He's telling the truth?" I nodded gravely. She suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream, frantically scratching at the dark red spot. At this moment, Master sent another message. "The method to break the seal is very simple. This talisman is drawn with the fresh blood of the most yang-filled animals. Just drip pure yin blood onto the talisman, and the seal can be broken." I understood. I immediately bit my finger, applying blood to the wall. The dark red marks instantly turned black and peeled off. A mournful ghost wail echoed. The ghost's crying finally faded. At this point, the livestream comments which had disappeared suddenly reappeared. "Finally, I can send comments. I don't know why I couldn't speak just now. There's still one more on the ceiling. Livestream ending." The livestream room was locked. I walked back to the center of the room. My blood-stained jacket had successfully touched the talisman on the ceiling. The talisman immediately peeled off. The ghost's wail rang out again, piercing and chilling. Lena and Lynn instinctively covered their ears and ran towards me. I looked at Lynn. "Do you know anything about your sister's death, Lynn?" "The livestream room is locked now. It's just the 3 of us here. I can help you, but Lena's a fool. She won't understand." She pulled my hand, looking up at the ceiling. I noticed a faint black shadow slowly materializing there. "Your guess might not be wrong. My sister didn't look like she committed suicide," Lynn said, her face troubled. The black shadow on the ceiling descended, rapidly flying towards Lena's corner. The shadowy figure emitted sounds, seemingly recounting its grievances to us. Lynn clearly saw the figure and burst into tears, rushing towards it. Lena! She lunged into empty space. Lena floated midair, retaining her appearance before death, a long, dangling tongue, bulging eyeballs, purplish lips, and clear cuts and red marks on her neck. She had been dismembered after death. I saw her tongue had even been cut off. I pondered for 2 seconds, then looked at Lynn beside me. Lynn, there's something suspicious about your sister Lena's death, but right now, we can't know the truth. We can only let her speak for herself. But her tongue was cut off after death, so she can't speak. The only way for her to talk now is for her to possess your body. Hearing this, Lynn immediately agreed. I looked at Lena again. With Lynn's agreement, she slowly moved closer to Lynn. Lynn closed her eyes. After a while, Lynn opened her eyes, looking at me, her voice hoarse. I am Lena. It was a success. Lena recounted. 3 years ago, I accidentally overheard a conversation between the principal and vice principal about a construction bid involving bribery. Afterwards, my homeroom teacher killed me with a rope and then took me to the utilities room, staging it as a suicide by hanging. My parents took money, so they insisted I committed suicide. I've been trapped in this room, unable to leave even a single step. As she finished speaking, 2 streams of blood tears rolled down from her eyes. I looked at Lena through Lynn, realizing Lynn's face had grown deathly pale. You need to leave her body now. Lynn can't take it anymore. Hearing this, Lena immediately flew out. Lena, we now know the truth. Can you lift this illusion array so we can get out? Once we're outside, I will definitely report it to the police and seek justice for you. As soon as I finished speaking, Lena let out a cold laugh. Justice? What justice? I've transformed from a vengeful spirit into a fierce ghost. I revealed the truth simply because I wanted you all to become ghosts who understand. I've been trapped in this room for 3 years. I wanted someone to break this suppression talisman so I could personally kill them to sate my hatred. I only spared your lives until now out of respect for my sister. You have a pure yin body. If I kill you, I will naturally become stronger. Then I'll be able to exact my revenge. Lena began to transform. Her originally pale green face slowly turned black-green. Her dark pupils widened, and her fingernails turned black and grew longer. Lena immediately hid behind me. Iris, what do we do now? What do we do? Lena flew straight at me, her sharp fingernails tearing my t-shirt. Damn it, this shirt was a gift from my master's wife? I quickly pulled out the peachwood sword from within my clothing. Previously, out of consideration for Lynn and seeing that Lena still retained some sanity, I hadn't intended to truly strike. Did she really think I was afraid of her? Lena didn't stop but directly lunged for Lena's throat. Seeing this, Lynn rushed forward. Lena, don't. Lena, don't. Lena shoved Lynn away. Get out of the way, or I'll kill you too, sister. I positioned myself as a shield for Lynn. Your sister has turned into a fierce ghost. Protect yourself. With that, I raised the peachwood sword before my eyes. I am the sole remaining descendant of Ghost King Shentu. I beseech Ghost King Shentu to grant me aid. The moment I finished speaking, the peachwood sword immediately emitted a white light. I bit my finger, smeared blood on the sword, and lunged towards Lena. Lena was gasping for air, her throat being choked. Lena dodged my sword, casually threw Lena aside, and brandished her claws, lunging at me. I quickly dodged, tearing off my pendant and aiming it directly at Lena's face. Wandering soul, where do you linger? Now I come, first to collect the warmth of heaven and earth, second to reveal evil gods, third to collect this wandering spirit. Lena was sucked into the jade pendant, and the cold air in the entire room immediately dissipated. The door also reappeared. I took out my phone. The screen showed 12:05. We had entered this room exactly at 12:00. Up until now, only 5 minutes had passed here. I looked at the 2 women paralyzed on the ground, walked over and helped Lynn up, then nudged Lena with my foot. Let's go! Lena's legs were like jelly from fear. Oh my God, Iris, it turns out ghosts really do exist in this world. Lynn leaned on me, saying nothing. Iris, you have this ghost-capturing artifact. Why didn't you use it from the beginning? I was almost choked to death just now. I sighed, walking as I spoke. There are so many ghosts in this world. Should I capture all of them? Then my Taoist temple would turn into a ghost den, wouldn't it? If they can be absolved, then absolve them. Only if they can't be absolved do I capture them. What happens to ghosts that are captured? Lynn asked. I honestly replied, absolution. If not absolution, then suppression. If not suppression, then annihilation. Lynn softly hummed, then said nothing more. The next day, I asked my advisor for leave and went to the Taoist temple. Just as I handed the jade pendant to Master, Lena called. Iris, Officer Zhang is here with the police. Come quickly and see the commotion. I rushed back to school. Lena was at the junction between dorms 4 and 3. Today, an anonymous tip reported corpse oil in the wall of dorm room number 4. The police broke down the wall and discovered Lena's body. Lena finished speaking just as we reached the dorm room door. Inside, Lynn's parents were in a tumultuous argument. Lynn, it's over. Why are you so stubborn? You reported it to the police. Your parents are finished too. Lynn's face was cold. Finished? Then be finished. How much money did they give you after all? Those were the people who killed your daughter. They are the murderers. I stepped into the dorm room. Lynn looked at me. Iris, did I do something wrong? I walked over and patted her head, saying nothing. The principal, vice principal, and homeroom teacher of our school were all arrested. They admitted to their crimes. Lynn's parents were also implicated, but I don't know what Lynn said, as they were not sentenced. Back at the Taoist temple, I discovered the jade pendant was gone. I hastily went to find Master. Where's the jade pendant with the fierce ghost? Master was playing a game at the moment. He pointed to Leo's room. He's in there, my disciple brother. I quickly walked over, seeing him fiddling with a hand-cranked pill-making machine. The jade pendant lay beside the machine, but Lena was not inside. Where's Lena? I grabbed Leo's arm. Did you make her soul dissipate? Leo removed my hand, gesturing for me to look at the pill-making machine. She's right here. I saw Lena, transformed into a stream of malevolent energy, furiously impacting the crank of the pill-making machine. The crank spun wildly under Lena's malevolence, and round pills rolled out one by one. Leo said, Master made me make 30,000 pills, but refused to buy me an automatic pill machine. I had no choice but to do this. I call this utilizing new energy. I was speechless for a moment, then finally spoke. Damn it, you truly are a genius. Leo smiled at me. Thanks for the compliment. The story ends here.